take other actions at that time. And what I mean by other actions at that time, it could be not the step, it could be a smaller one-time stipend or things of this sort. Any questions? No? Then moving on to the next part of the presentation skill under pay scale. One of the things, no, there's three different parts. One of the things that I want to accomplish, and this was a TASB recommendation, is if you look at our pay system right now, we've talked a lot and had conversations about, well, why are we paying masters for positions that require masters and you're getting another $3,000? We looked at different stipends. Other things that have come up under consideration is, okay, you have a receptionist who's earning more or less than, a secretary or a, and I'm no offense by this, but you have a custodian that could be earning more than let's say, for example, a air conditioning technician and things of the sort. So what we're proposing is taking TASB's recommendation and come up with different pay scales or pay structures. The first one is going to be the professional pay structure, and in there it has 9 different pay grades. It starts from pay grade 1 and it goes all the way up to pay grade 9. And there's a minimum, midpoint, and maximum. I think we would put it there. I think we can show it. Okay. Yes, it'll work. First question? No, can I help?
That's for volunteering me, sir.
You want me to go back to the other one?
No, just so the public can see what we're talking about.
And then if you can focus to make it appear larger.
Before there was no
No,
skill.
before there was no scale. It was all based on the teacher scale for some of these administrative positions. And what this does, it recognizes the responsibility of the position, and then it sets up a minimum, a midpoint, and a maximum. Before, the way it was set up, for example, if I had a principal, and I'm going to use their, let's say, the middle school principal, which is a pay grade 7 in this proposal. If I had a principal and the principal earned, let's say the principal had 7 years experience, it would go back to the teacher scale, then times a weight. I believe the weight was 1.20 times the number of days that that individual was employed, either 226 or 217, in this case 226. And then the individual would get an additional $3,000 for the master. This does away with all that, and it now sets the scales based on the market study with a, again, minimum, midpoint, and maximum of each. That's the administrative pay structure. The next one is the clerical technical support. If you look at the next pay structure that's being discussed, that also does the same thing. It breaks up the clerical technical support pay structure into 6 different areas. As you can see on pay grade 1, you have teacher aides, teacher aide PE, and all the way to the bottom where you have accounts payable, payroll clerk. Again, this is based on market, what the market pays for similar job responsibilities. So it gives you more clarity. Before, this group of employees were all lumped into a two-step scale. So that means teacher aides were together with like migrant recruiting, special education clerk, different ones, and then we had another scale for the clerical, and you had receptionists all the way up to the superintendent secretary, all of them lumped together. The only difference or how it would increase is each year they would get a step up regardless of whether the responsibility was greater or lessened. and they would just be bumping up each year, getting approximately $400 raise. So this classifies the position more into job responsibilities.
So this is not only based on the study that we had done, but it's also based on their job descriptions.
That is correct. And the main basis for this is the TASB study. What they did, they looked at other organizations, not only Rio Hondo, compared to 11 school districts around here locally, but they saw how this pay structure is compared statewide. Moving on to the next one. Actually, the proposed clerical technical support pay structure has 8 steps also. Going on to the next pay structure, that's the proposed operation support pay structure. And in here you have a total of 6 pay structures. Pay structure number 1 is cafeteria worker, custodian, monitor, all the way to pay structure number 6, which is police officer. If you notice on the side, it is set on an hourly basis, and again, you have the minimum, midpoint, and maximum. Before that, the current one that we have is based on a daily rate, which again, that is not recommended, because you can get into serious issues with wage and hour. If the individual is working more than the I guess the 8 hours of work and getting paid a lesser amount. So what this does, it converts from daily rates to hourly rates, and there's a minimum, midpoint, and maximum, again based on responsibility and based on market comparison. So that's the part of item presentation on item number 7.
Sir, I have a question on the proposed administrative professional pay structure. We have the athletic trainer, which you classified as a pay grade 3, and then we have the athletic director and the high school band director classified as a pay grade 6, and then you have them crossed out. Right now, in their current system, they are under administrators, so where would they fall within this?
Hold on, can you go back to that schedule? And no, they're not, although they are called administrators, we don't have an administrative schedule, and that's important to understand. Right now, all positions are based from the teacher schedule. They have weights for administrators, but it's not an administrative schedule. So in here, what I was trying to attempt was to take the athletic director, the high school band director, and the athletic trainer and put them into the administrative scale. In other words, do away with the teacher scale, put them in here. One of the concerns that came out in previous board meetings, which makes sense, is that these individuals not only receive a salary, they also receive a stipend.
But their salary is weight.
Their salary is weighted.
Like administrators are weight.
Remember, there is a weight attached to these positions, but there is no administrative scale. That's important to understand. Everything right now is based off the teacher scale. So these 3 individuals here, I was recommending to place them in the administrative scale. That does away with days, does away with stipends, does away with all those issues. Now, one of the concerns that was brought up by different conversation, and it makes a lot of sense, is that once I roll these positions into this administrative scale, then if you want to make any future adjustments to the stipend, and remember, the stipends for the band director and the athletic director are $20,000. If you want to make a change to those in the future, I will not, or the district would not be able to do that because it's now part of the salary. So that is a good thing that was pointed out, and it makes sense. We're going to continue, the people that are in there, we're going to grandfather them into keeping the same stipend, but these are based on teacher salary.
So where would they be placed in? They wouldn't be placed anywhere?
They won't be placed anywhere. They're going to go back to the teacher salary schedule, which means that they'll keep the same weight. I believe it's 1.20, depending on the number of years of experience, times 187, divided by 187, times the weight, times 226. And since we're doing away with $3,000 master stipend, that's not going to come into play for new incoming people into this position. the existing individuals that are there, we're gonna grandfather them in and they're gonna continue as is. Any questions? If not, I recommend that the board approve the wage and salary structures as presented.
So the stipends is on another line item?
Yeah.
This is just this one.
That's correct.
Any other questions? Entertain a motion.
And we approve, the wage and salary structure as part of the 2014-15 compensation plan is put in exhibit 7.
Motion made by Mr. Flores, second by Mr. Gomez to approve the wage and salary structure as part of the 2014-2015 compensation plan. All those in favor? All opposed?
Opposed.
Motion carries by the majority. Item 8, discuss and consider approving salary adjustment as part of the 2014-2015 compensation plan.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. If you could put up, exhibit 8. As per DA local, the superintendent shall recommend to the board for approval compensation plans for all district employees. Compensation plans may include wage and salary structures, stipends, benefits, and incentives. The superintendent or designee shall classify each job title with the compensation plans based on the qualifications and duties of the position. Within this qualification, the superintendent or designee shall determine appropriate pay for new employees and employees reassigned to the different position. Administration is requesting that 18 employees receive a salary increase due to an adjustment in the market value of the job. The other thing that happened during the TASB study, they went ahead and compared different individuals, different positions that are working, and they compared them to market. When we looked at everything, it was determined that there were 18 employees that were underpaid, if you were to compare them to the market value, anywhere from some as low as, I believe, 65% of market to 85% of market. So what we're doing, or what I'm doing, is recommending that the board allow me to do an adjustment based on market value that will affect 18 employees. The breakdown is there. It is 2 administrators, 5 clerical technical positions, and 11 operational support. The cost of adjusting this 18 individuals will be $50,136. This money has been approved. Money for the adjustment has been previously approved in the budget. It has just not been allocated, so I'm coming to the board requesting authorization to go ahead and adjust the salary of those 18 employees. Again, 2 in administration, 5 clerical support positions, and 11 operational support. Once we have completed this adjustment, this 18 individuals will be at 98% of market. I did not bring them up to 100%. I kept them at 98% of what market value is for this position.
And they're currently where, sir, do you know?
Where are they currently? It ranges from, and I'll show you right now. On the professional, on the clerical technical support, it ranges low end 77% to 88%. From 77% to 80%. And I'm gonna adjust those individuals up to 98%, not at 100. Operational support, it ranges from 67% all the way up to 94%. So low end, these are individuals that are earning 67% of what market value should be, all the way up to 94%. And the number of dollars changes depending on the position to bring them up to 98% of market. And then finally, under technical support, I believe I said that already, 77 to 88.
The administrative
Right.
professional.
And the other group would be from 81% up to 94%. So the adjustments are gonna be for those individuals that are between 81% to 94% of market. Again, each individual